Hello students, welcome back in the second video of the chapter My Childhood. As we have already discussed few parts of this chapter in the first video, we know that this chapter is based on the autobiography of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Since you all have got the book with you, I am starting with paragraph number 6. In this chapter, in this paragraph, we are going to study that APJ Abdul Kalam, when he was studying in 5th standard in Rameshwaram Elementary School, a new teacher came in his class. Now, when the new teacher found that students like Kalam and his friends, Ramananda Shastri. We have discussed this before also, that Ramananda Shastri is from Orthodox Hindu Brahmin family. So what was the difference for the new teacher to see this? The new teacher was not able to digest. He was not able to stomach the fact that a Muslim boy wearing a cap and a Hindu boy wearing a sacred thread is sitting together on the front row. So he asked Kalam to go and sit at the back bench. Since he was not such open-minded, he was also one of the orthodox thinking person who was not happy and was not convinced to accept that the two different religion people or children can sit together. So that was very insulting and that was very disturbing for Kalam. But since he was a child, he didn't exactly what his teacher asked to do. He felt insulted, he felt bad, he downcasted and shifted to the last row. This was not just a bad incident for Kalam himself, but equally it was hurting for his best friend Ramananda Shastri as well. The last expression which Kalam tells that he remembers in his eyes while he was moving to the last bench was the weeping, and face full of tears and sadness of his best friend. After school, they both went home and they informed about this incident to their respective families. This thing was discussed in the families, and especially the father of Ramananda Shastri, that is Lakshmana Shastri, when he came to know this about this incident, he was not happy. He summoned the new teacher. Summoned means he called the new teacher and he questioned why is he doing such thing which is against the society norms. Like, I'll quote a line which he said to the new teacher. He should not spread the poison of social inequality, communal intolerance in the mind of the innocent children. There are two important words which we can understand. Social inequality. Inequality means which is not balanced and same. So, social inequality means that the teacher was trying to show into the children that Hindus are greater than the Muslims. That's why he asked Kalam to go and sit at the last row. So that is social inequality. And communal intolerance means he was not able to digest and tolerate that the communities are together. So that is the poison which he was unknowingly feeding in the children as well, which he had in himself. So the priest of the temple, the Ramananda Shastri, the father of the Lakshmana Shastri, father of Ramananda Shastri, he summoned and he almost made teacher regret to on his action and asked to either feel guilty about it or he can quit the school and even the island. Did not only the teacher regret his behavior, but on the strong conviction of Lakshmana Shastri, he even apologized and reformed. Meaning of reformed is to correct himself. So the new teacher was very guilty about his action, his behavior that he did with the innocent children, and he reformed himself. He corrected himself that social imbalances, discrimination kind of thing should not be promoted in the society, and this is what we should also follow. Children, this is very important learning which we are just not studying in the story, but we should also follow this good quality thing in our daily life, that everybody is the citizen of the nation. Nothing comes first before the nation. So here the religion imbalances which sometimes when we see in the society, we should not promote it. In fact, when we see it, we should try to take initiatives to remove it as possible as we can. Fine. Then comes the situation. On the whole, if we discuss the society of the Rameshwaram at that time was very rigid, was very fixed. Like people were not that modern to accept the segregation of different social groups, of different sections. Segregation means to divide. So here we are going to study about a science teacher of Kalam, which he tells about his science teacher and says that out of the box, his science teacher was also from the Orthodox family, but he himself had a very modern thinking. He was the one who was trying really hard to break the barriers of the society. He was trying hard that people should come forward, mingle with each other, get connected with each other, communicate with each other, share their thoughts, their ideas with each other, so that the social imbalancing and discrimination thing should get vanished. But the science teacher had a conservative wife. The name of the science teacher is Shiva Subramaniam Iyer. So Shiva Subramaniam Iyer had a very conservative wife. She was conservative because she had the same upbringing like the other people who was being taught the social discrimination thing. On the contrary, Mr. Iyer was a rebellious kind of a person. He was not accepting this social discrimination facts. So he and I'll just quote a line for you all students, just pay attention on that. That one day he was telling Kalam, I want you to develop so that you are on par. Par means on a height with the highest educated people of the big cities. So this was an expectation of a teacher from his students, that he wanted Kalam. He used to share his expectation from Kalam because he used to see a lot of hope and scope in Kalam. So he used to always spend a lot of time with Kalam, so that the society will see and start mingling, that a Hindu teacher and a Muslim student can get and gel up so nicely. So his expectation was from Kalam that he should get so educated that one day he will reach to the par, to the highest position, where his education is going to change the society, the conservative mind of the people. He will be one who will promote equality in the society. Segregation and imbalancing kind of poison will be removed from the society one day. Ahead we see, one day Mr. Iyer invited Kalam for a meal, and after seeing this, wife of Mr. Iyer was really horrified. Horrified means she was scared, because as I have told you that she was from a conservative family. She even had the same conservative mind. She was not able to accept the fact that a Muslim boy will dine in her kitchen, which she considered her kitchen to be very pure. That means, what means a pure kitchen? Pure kitchen means that nothing from outside has ever come in her kitchen. It's not any kind of influences, right? And here, entering of a Muslim boy in a Hindu kitchen was something which she was not ready to accept. So she did not serve the food to Kalam. She did not greeted him well. And on this behavior, Mr. Iyer was not upset. He was not perturbed, because he was aware that the wife is not doing it intentionally. She is doing it because of her upbringing. She is doing it because of the mindset that she has been creating since the beginning and since her childhood, and that is because of the socio environment in which she has grown up. So Mr. Iyer served the food to Kalam, sat next to him and had the meal. What happened meanwhile? Mrs. Iyer was hiding in the kitchen, or she was peeping behind, outside behind the door, and she was looking at the Kalam. Now Kalam saw this and he says, I hope that Mrs. Iyer hasn't found any difference in my eating, in my drinking of water, or the way I cleaned the floor after having my meal. I hope she finds it as similar as to Mr. Iyer or any other common person from the Hindu community. So this is what Kalam is saying, that I hope she's not wondering that I am an alien coming from a different planet, or even I have a different eating habits or different way of eating. I am equally and same like others. This was the time when Kalam was little hesitant when Mr. Iyer invited Kalam again on a meal next weekend. So after seeing this hesitation, Mr. Iyer said a very beautiful line which I would like to quote for you all. Once you decide to change the system, such problems have to be confronted. Confronted means faced. So after seeing the hesitation of Kalam, Mr. Iyer, his science teacher, he tried to explain that if you are trying to change some system, now here system means the orthodox thought process of the people. So he said, if you're trying to change that thought process, if you're trying to change the mindset of the people, yes, you have to face such kind of behavior. The behavior which was being performed by the wife of Mr. Iyer. So you have to confront it, you have to face it, and you have to digest it, you have to accept it. Because until and unless you will not face such problems, you will never progress. If you will get hesitant and stop here, you cannot grow. And that was the first step which Kalam understood and proceeded ahead. What happened next time? Meanwhile, when next time Dr. Kalam, when he was invited again, this time Mrs. Iyer served the food to Kalam herself. Because after seeing that Kalam's behavior and activities of eating, or that mindset is not same, her mindset was very clear, her mindset got very broad, and this time she welcomed Kalam with the open heart. This time she served the food, made Kalam sit in her kitchen. So that was the beautiful change in the second visit of Kalam to Mr. Iyer's place. Meanwhile, the Second World War which was happening was finished, and India was imminent. Imminent means India was getting free, independent, liberal. I will quote a line: Indians will build their own India. This was declared by Gandhiji. So Indians will build their own India means now we are no more the slave of the Britishers. We are not going to follow their instructions. We are the independent people, and we are going to have our own liberty. We are going to rule our nation. We will not be ruled by somebody. The whole country was filled with unprecedented optimism. These are the two words which you need to understand. Optimism means positive thinking, anything which is positive, hope. And unprecedented means anything which has never happened before. So this hope which people did not had earlier, that someday India will get independent, now they were having this belief that finally India is getting independent. Now we will have our own way of living. We will not be slaves, we will not be ruled by others. And even Kalam was more grown up by this time. So he asked for a permission from his father to leave Rameshwaram for the higher studies and go to the district headquarters in Ramanathapuram. On this, father was okay and he was ready to give the permission, but the mother was little hesitant. We are aware that our mothers are not that comfortable when the children go away from them, because till the birth she has taken care of us in such a nice way, and she has kept us so in a protective environment and close to us that she will never feel comfortable if she sees her children going far from her. On that, the father of Kalam, he made the mother understood this situation by quoting a line, which I'll read it for you. Your children are not your children. These are the lines which are quoted by Khalil Gibran. So he is trying to explain mother by these lines that these are your children. They come through you. But exactly they are not your children. They are the children of the nations. They don't just have the responsibility towards you. They have the responsibility towards the whole nation, since they are the children of the whole nation. Definitely we have our responsibility towards our parents, towards our nation. So here this is what father of Kalam is trying to explain to his mother and convince that, that to allow Kalam to let him go, to have his own fly, to feel free and explore the world and nation and study and get a higher education. So here the father of Kalam, he says a line that the seagull is a type of a bird, that she never carries her its nest always whenever they fly and go away. They leave their nests and fly across the seas to cover the distance, to explore more things. And here, let this child go and explore the world. Further it says, I'll quote the line once again, your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. So he is trying to convince mother by saying these lines of Khalil Gibran that the children may come through you, but they have not just come only for you. They have come for the society, they have come for the community, they have come for the nation, they have come for everybody they can serve. You can give them principles, you can teach them, but you cannot give them your thoughts, since they have their own thoughts, they have their own ideas, they have their own creativity. They will think in their own way, they will do the things in their own way. So since you cannot rule them, let them be free. Let them explore, let them have their own sky. So by this we come to the end of the chapter. And I hope you must have understood and enjoyed the whole story, and must have got inspired by the life history, a very short span that we have covered over here from the novel The Wings. So thank you all students for giving your time and watching this video. See you all in the next video. Thank you.